Today we're going to take it a little bit further, making this home a bit smarter. So far I've installed a garage door opener and I also replaced the front door lock. Today we're going to be replacing the existing doorbell, patching the wall, and also make the doorbell talk with the fridge. Yep, the fridge. So I thought my old fridge was pretty fancy, but this one is on another level. And a big thanks to Home Depot for sponsoring today's video. Let's get started. I know I'm a bit late coming to the Ring doorbell party, but I already had a more complicated version of it. In this video, I will be removing the old call box, patching the wall, and then get it prepped to install the Ring doorbell. The Ring doorbell only needs 2 conductors for power, and the communication is handled over Wi-Fi. It's designed to replace your existing doorbell. This metal plate that I'm removing here is better known as a call box. There's a speaker, a button, and a camera inside. It interfaces with a telephone system and also a camera system. I mainly use this as a doorbell. Someone to ring the bell, I can pick up the phone inside and talk to them outside. Now this is still a thing for business and large residential homes. These still serves a good purpose for the right environment. The Ring is basically a self-contained version of this. It checks off all the things you need from a doorbell, like providing a video footage while you're having a conversation with somebody at the door, and it also integrates with things like the smart lock I have on the front door. So if I needed to let somebody in, that's a possibility. With the plate removed, there's now a huge gaping hole in the wall that needs to be fixed. And for this next step, I'll be taking on something I've never done before, and that's patching a hole in the wall. When I receive shipment in the mail, I tend to keep some of the foam, especially if they're unique pieces like this, just in case an idea pops up and I need a piece. Although I need to patch the wall, I still need a hole in it. The purpose of the foam is to be a placeholder, just so when I patch the hole back, I don't have to re-drill a new hole. Now I'll need to make some stucco mix, and for this I'll use Rapid Set Stucco Patch. As I mentioned, this is my first time doing any kind of stucco patching, so I didn't know there were so many variations of stucco mix and stucco patch and grit sizes. There's a lot to learn. This product is a 4-to-1 mix, 1 part water and 4 part stucco patch. And if you use this ratio of mix, you'll end up with a peanut butter consistency. And now that the mix is kind of pasty, it's time to apply it to the wall. One thing I could have considered here is using a spray bottle and wet the wall before applying the stucco. All I have on hand is this brick trowel, and it should be good enough to get me through this small project. Now I also made sure that I work this in so that it's compressed and fill in all the cracks. I knew going into this would be a hard task to match the existing texture. After compressing it and working in the mix, I then use a sponge to feather out the edge. According to Rapid Set, you can patch and paint in just 2 hours. But to play it safe, I let it sit for an extra hour, then I came back with a paint primer to paint the stucco. Once the paint dried up, I removed the foam, and it's now time to install the doorbell. What's neat about the doorbell is that they prepare you with everything you need for this installation, like this cool back plate that has a bubble level built in. And you can use this to mark the screw holes for the doorbell. The back plate is optional for this installation, but if you want the cleanest look, you can do away with that. I ended up using the back plate because the holes are just so close to the edge of the Ring doorbell that I didn't want that to be an issue. The doorbell comes with the screws, the wall anchor, and also a masonry bit, so no need to figure that part out. The reason these are not going to get used is because I already have a splice point behind the stucco which is extending the wires, and I just don't want to introduce another splice point. So now I can push the wire back into the wall and mount the doorbell to the wall. Now remember, the doorbell can be installed without the back plate. The main reason I'm using a back plate is because the hole that I have in the wall is just so close to the edge of the doorbell. The doorbell comes with 4 different cover plates, and you can pick the one you're into. I had a choice of picking the silver or the black. If you have a doorbell unit and it came with the house, it's probably a contractor's doorbell unit. If that's the case, then the instruction that comes with the Ring shows you just how to tie it in. My setup was a bit different, so I had to check the documentation on the Ring website. They recommend adding a 25 ohm 50 watt resistor. This is needed if you're going directly to a transformer. If you look at the on-screen diagram, the resistor is placed in line with one leg of the doorbell wire. This is inside my attic where I have the distribution area for my cable and telephone wires. The wire from both doorbells come back to this punch block, which is then connected to the resistor, which is then connected to the transformer. Now that the doorbell is installed, I downloaded the Ring app and followed through with the setup. Just think of it as a normal doorbell with a lot of features in it. Built-in wide-angle camera with infrared for night vision. Probably my favorite feature is receiving notification when someone steps into the camera view. If it's a visitor, you can have a conversation while seeing who it is at the door right from your phone. Since this integrates with other devices, I can see who is at the door right from the refrigerator, then make the decision, do I want to respond to them or just let them leave. This is the Samsung Family Hub and we've had it for a few months now. It's been a great addition to us. And at first sight, I know you're probably thinking the same thing I was thinking, but why? But being somewhat of a tech head, I had to explore it. When I found out this thing had cameras on the inside, I spent way too much time trying to locate them. Imagine making a grocery list, but you forgot to check if you had enough milk. You can then use the app to see what's inside the fridge. I didn't think I'd use this as much, but it's growing on me. I like to add my events to my calendar by voice, but I check them all the time on the fridge just to see what's going on tomorrow or the rest of the week. I'm always looking to switch things up and make things a little more convenient. So it's totally growing on me, and at least I know one person that's enjoying this a lot, and that's my little daughter. She enjoys scribbling on here, and hey, it keeps her occupied, so have at it. In the final video of this series, I'll be showing how to install the light switches and basically how all this stuff come together and make my life a little more convenient. You can look at smart devices in many different ways. To me, it's about one thing, it's convenience. And I'm by no means saying that this is the way to live, but at the end of the day, this is what interests me. I'm excited about it. It really pumps me up, and that is it for this one, guys. And I hope to catch you on the next video. See you in the next one.